What's up, YouTube? This is the 82-0 podcast, continuing on looking at NBA Hall of Famers that are forgotten. Today we're taking a look at Neil Johnston. He was born February 4th, 1929, and he grew up in Chillicothe, Ohio. And he would go to Chillicothe High School, where he was an all-state player in basketball. He led the Red Devils to an undefeated 16-0 regular season, and ranked second in Ohio in 1945-46. As the team won its finale 82-19, behind Johnston's 38 points, he averaged 23.7 points per game that year. Playing only about half of some games, the team was upset about their second postseason game. Johnston was named the second-team Ohio Class A large school. He was also a high jumper in the track and team and qualified for a state track meet. And he was in the tennis team too. Now, when he was growing up, his father wanted him to be a baseball player. And at Ohio State University, where he went, he played both basketball and baseball. And Johnston actually signed a professional baseball contract with the Philadelphia Phillies for about 2 years after college. After failing to distinguish himself as a minor league baseball, he tried out for the NBA's Philadelphia Warriors. At the team camp in Hershey, Pennsylvania in 1951, he was signed to a contract. So he wasn't technically drafted per se to the NBA. It was more just like he had a good high college career and wanted to go chase baseball. And now he's a basketball player. So he started with the Philadelphia Warriors from 51 to 59. He spent his entire playing career with the Warriors. And he was 6'8". Johnston was known for his sweeping right hook shot. Johnston led the NBA in scoring for 3 consecutive seasons between 52-53 to 54-55. During the 54-55 season, he was also the league's rebounding title. He led the league in field goal percentage in 52-53, 55-56, and the 56-57 seasons. Johnston was a member of the Warriors championship team in 1956. He played in 6 NBA All-Star games, and he was the first All-NBA team selection 4 times, and was an All-NBA second-team selection once. Although, unfortunately, Johnston was forced to retire early in the 58-59 season due to knee injury. And what people got to know is, during this time, players, they didn't play as long as even guys in the 60s. A lot of times when you look at players who played back in the 50s, you see them retiring around 29, 30, because the game was so rough back then, and they weren't making enough money that it was worth it. So let's take a look at his 56 Warriors championship. Now, this is just 4 years before Wilt Chamberlain would be there. Wilt Chamberlain's first season would be the 59-60 season. And this team would have Paul Arizin, Tom Gola, Neil Johnston. And Paul Arizin and Tom Gola would go on to play with Wilt Chamberlain. So a huge NBA what if is, what if Neil Johnston stayed healthy and kept playing with Wilt Chamberlain? Because if you think about it, he's 6'8". He could have been playing the power forward position with Wilt Chamberlain. And for his time, he was an incredibly efficient shooter. He averaged 44% from the field, which is very high for his era. He's a 76% free throw shooter. He averaged 11 rebounds for his career, with his career high at 15. He averaged 19 points per game for his career, with a career high of 24.4 in the 54 season. And he's, like I said, he's a 3-time scoring champion. Now, after he retired from playing with the Warriors, he decided to coach. And he actually was the head coach of the Philadelphia Warriors during the 59-60 and 60-61 seasons before resigning. Johnston coached the Warriors during the first 2 seasons of Wilt Chamberlain's NBA career. Although I've read that him and Wilt Chamberlain didn't get along very much, and that was a big reason why Johnston left. And he kind of ran under the radar. He did coach the Pittsburgh Wrens of what was called the American Basketball League, which was a very tiny, I want to say amateur league, not really like a G League, but during this time, the NBA wasn't as popular as it would have become, and there were also smaller leagues all over the country. So he coached there for a while, and he also coached at Chemeketa Community College. His last job was as an athletic director at North Lake College in Irving, Texas. And unfortunately, on September 28, 1978, Johnston died of a heart attack at the age of 49 while playing basketball with his son Scott in Bedford, Texas. A memorial service was held at the North Lake College at St. Paul's Methodist Church in Hurst, Texas. And he was survived by his wife Phyllis, his son Willis, and his three daughters Nancy, Barbara, and Kate. And he also had twin sons Daniel and Scott. And he had three brothers that survived him. And it's kind of crazy how long it took him to get into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. Because it took him up until 1990 before he was in the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. You'd think he would have been in there sooner. And he was in the Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame in 2006. So, unfortunately, he's been lost with time because he died pretty young. He was only 49 at the time of his death. And what I can say is, to compare him to a modern player, from everything I've read, obviously there's not a lot of footage of him. What I can compare him to is like, say, a Kevin Love. He had a great outside shot from what I've read. He had great post moves. Some people have compared him to a modern Joel Embiid too, because he was great on the defensive end. And he had a really high PER for his time. He averaged 24.7 PER for his career, and his career high was 25.4 PER in the 54-55 season. So that's Neil Johnston's story. His nickname was Old Hoss or Gabby. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thanks for watching.